Thank you, Mon. Well, to have gluten or not to have gluten, it is, of course, one of the more highly contested nutritional debates of the past century, perhaps longer. What does gluten sensitivity really mean, and is cutting it from our diets really the best thing for our health? Or is it not the enemy we once thought? Here to explain, Weekend Sunrise nutritionist Sarah Di Lorenzo. Sarah.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Demystify gluten.
Okay, so gluten is a protein that we find in wheat, barley and rye. It's what gives its food its structure and binds it together. It's also a Latin word that you know this for glue, because I've told you that before. So signs and symptoms that we have gluten sensitivity, and I'm not talking celiac disease or wheat allergy, it's things like bloating, flatulence, constipation, diarrhea, brain fog, low energy are really big ones, but on a more serious note, things like drivers of autoimmune disease and also muscular pains and joint pains, plus also anxiety and depression. So that's gluten sensitivity, my little monologue for you there.
Okay, but some people don't have the sensitivity, right?
Absolutely.
And then for them, gluten's fine.
Absolutely fine, yeah. This is one thing that I sort of see people start to represent with it around age 15 and on, but yeah, not everyone has gluten sensitivity at all. Like, I would probably say, I don't know, maybe 30% of the population would generally, what I see, I'm basing that on what I see in my clinic. Yeah.
And the symptoms, more broadly, what are we watching out for?
Just as I mentioned, it's like constipation, diarrhea, flatulence, abdominal pain's a massive one. But when I get people to come into my clinic who have got those kind of symptoms, one of the first things I do is just say, stop it for 2 weeks.
So you just eliminate it first, see if you get better.
And see how you feel, because often you'll find that that is the culprit and it's not something else that could be a little bit more sinister.
Okay, so what have you brought in here?
Okay, so what I want to show you guys is all of these foods, pretty much from here down, are all foods that contain gluten. So anything, and on labels, a really easy way to diagnose it is just by looking at what's in bold written on the label of a nutritional panel. So everything, all the cakes, biscuits, all that kind of stuff, white flour and the pasta there, wheat bix, but as well soy sauce is one, beer's another one, and packets like anything like soup packets, gravy, those kind of things, and also shampoo and conditioner as well, and because flour is used as a bulking agent. I also want to mention that there's a lot of gluten-free products that we see on the market, and these are these things that you see here, and that doesn't necessarily mean they are a healthy option, because they often can be incredibly refined, have next to no fibre, and
so you've got best of intentions, you go gluten-free, and you
think
still
people
suffer.
feel like it's like
a healthy option,
correct,
and it's not necessarily
right. It's not.
So you've given us, if anyone wants to give it a go of trying not to have gluten, you've got some options.
Some great options to do. First of all, try something like a zucchini noodle instead of doing a pasta. Have a look at things, and I always say the most important thing is we need our fibre intake. That's what people, like when they give up a lot of wheat-based products, fibre is massively important. So just start to become like a rice eater, or things like quinoa are great. The pulse pastas are excellent. Potato and sweet potato, excellent sources of fibre. But as well, just things like changing over to things like, vegetable sticks from the crackers. But also what I have found in my clinical experience is people who do have a non-celiac gluten sensitivity still can cope with things like oats, and they can still cope with foods such as a sourdough, because it's got the yeast has basically taken the gluten level down very low. So basically making that switch, because after all, it's quality of life and feeling great every day that's important, and it just means if giving up one food group doesn't mean you can't still get all the amazing health benefits that you would get making the switch to having non-gluten options. But again, only if you're someone who's got those signs or symptoms.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fantastic.
Thank you, Sarah.
Anyone else enjoy the hot cross bun? Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
And you can find all the information over on the Sunrise website.
You're watching Weekend Sunrise, our top stories.